let's get right into the difference of coverages, which is kind of what we've been talking about as well. So the difference in coverage and how they're when you look at the media and you look at all of these top tier people, right? You look at they when it was happening, when the riots and the looting, what were they doing? They were praising them. Who said it was going to be peaceful? It's to make you uncomfortable. If you see somebody you disagree with, get in their face, disrupt them, bother them. Created bail funds to bail all these people out of jail. Then it was, we're not going to stop. Never did they denounce any of the violence. They said it is what it is. But now everybody's denouncing it as, oh, how can it possibly be? What is going on? It's insurrection. This is chaos. Look at what Trump and Trump people are doing. Why didn't, if you were covering the exact same way, and I posted a little montage of what burning building behind him on CNN. Burning building is mostly peaceful. Burning fucking building behind you, and you're going to call that mostly peaceful? Are you kidding?
It was Antifa. It wasn't even black people.
It doesn't matter, but
yeah,
but that's my
Yeah, it does. Because Antifa is the white people.
No, that's true. No, I don't disagree. But to sit there and say that this is equal media coverage is just crazy. Everything they told you is, why are they doing it? We need to figure out why they're doing it. You have to understand why they're doing it, why this is happening. As soon as it happens, there's no understanding. Not one person asked, why is this happening? Why are people upset? They dismissed it as they're sore losers, completely dismissed it, never really got into the depth of what is actually going on that half of America is just dismissing, and never having a deeper understanding of what. They just blew it off as, oh, this is just Trump and his supporters. They're sore losers, insurrection, arrest them all. I'm happy they're getting killed, arrest them all. Get them fired from all their jobs over the summer. It's great. It's great. They're not doing anything wrong. We're going to bail them out of jail. So where was, and then when you had Biden and Kamala, who were part of the Minnesota Bail Fund, they were asked, are you going to denounce the violence? Nah, I'm not going to denounce it. You're going to denounce it? Nah, I'm not going to denounce it. Good for them. They're doing what they need to do. All of a sudden yesterday, oh my God, democracy's falling apart. Oh my God, the sky's falling. How is that even, how can you even compare those two events of what we saw over the summer versus what we saw yesterday?
So to answer that question, let me ask you then, what's the deeper meaning behind why they felt like they had to do what they had to do?
Will get to that. I have that. I will get to that. Let's just finish this, because that's the next one we were talking about, the why. But let's finish the difference in the coverage. You guys don't see a difference in the coverage between the two?
No, right now, I have no argument with that. I wholeheartedly agree that right now, pro-blackness is the thing. I agree with that. But how long, even with that, going back to what I said before about how the news has always been fake, it's just now it's a thing, to way back when you had propaganda going out about black men wanting to rape white women, and that's making these shorts before movies to put for fear mongering.
Mm-hmm.
And America has done that in general, not just to black people, but when they need to gear people up for wars. So America has always done that. But now that what's that? The chickens come home to roost.
Mm-hmm.
That they didn't turn that back on that white man. Now it's fake media and the news is against me. It's biased. It's always been that way.
So right now, we have more race baiters than we do racists in America.
Say that again?
We have more race baiters than we do racists in America.
So you trying to say we have people that just ignite, that just throw stuff out there just to ignite,
yes,
a situation, or just to ignite.
You see it because
that's partially the media's fault. That's partially the media. That's partially based on the media, and I can get that. I can understand that. That's partially based on how the media because they feed you so that you will be some type of that you will be scared a little bit.
All of the responses were based off of emotion. Was in fact, majority of people's initial reactions is emotion based. What is the easiest way right now to plug? They push 2 agendas. Well, 3 agendas, right? The 3 agendas that they push all the time is a race agenda, the gay agenda, and they're trying to backdoor in the socialist agenda. Those are the 3 agendas they always push because they know that they can sit there and plug at your emotions. And you don't care about the facts at that point. You're just going strictly off of emotion. You're always going to have racists. You're not going to be, it's always going to happen. But you have more people that will go after and they want things to be race-based because that's how they get paid. And that's how they can create division. That's how they can get a bigger foothold in different things. Look at all the money in Black Lives Matter. Nobody knows where those billions of dollars are. Nobody. Billions of dollars they made. Where is it? Hasn't done anything for any neighborhood. It's all money based. Same thing with these politicians. They do the same thing. And to your point, Aaron, politicians have always done that. You're 100% right. The whole push, the warmongers, they get behind that. We're gonna have war because that's how they get paid and that's how they stay in power. They've always done that. They've always done that as well. So it's nothing new. But those are the biggest 3 right now that's going on. It's all. If you look at our group chat, right? When it first. Nobody talked about what was happening and why it was happening. Everybody was talking, and even on social media, everybody was talking about, couldn't be us. Couldn't be us. Black people couldn't do that. Couldn't be us. We'd be shot right away. Nobody was talking about what was actually happening and the reason behind it. It was always, it couldn't happen to us as complete division.
Even if you tell me right now that those people are economically downtrodden and that's the reason why they did it, and
that's not the reason why.
Because of COVID. Okay, I'm not saying that is.
Sorry, go ahead.
And the lack of jobs and opportunities and all this other stuff, it still will not replace the fact that it cannot be us. And I get that you can take a moment in history where it happened one time, but you have to go to the what was done after that to stop that from happening. Same way you have all these, when you have a criminal case against the mob, what do? Say something and I'm going to kill your family. It's going to be collateral damage. That situation was, they stumped that fuse. So now, yeah, a lot of stuff was different 40, 50 years ago, and that's a whole different subject, how they have made sure that Black people, you ain't gonna see that no more. You won't see that again.
We saw it all summer.
You either saw it all summer or it was Black Lives Matter and Antifa. So it can't be Black people and Black Lives Matter and Antifa. It's one or the other.
But to that magnitude where they rushed a federal building, you couldn't see us do that. You couldn't see us do that. And I mean, do you think, Peter, do you think if we went up there, let's say we rushed the building, bam, you think it wouldn't be collateral damage?
To be honest, it depends who's in charge.
Okay.
It was all optics. It was allowed to happen for optics. They could have easily had the proper amount of people there guarding the place. They could have and should have. They chose not to. The mayor chose not to. She's a fucking liar if she's telling you that she didn't have the capability. She's flat out lying to you. She said, we're calling up the National Guard. She said that a week ago. Everybody knew the march was happening. If they were truly terrified and truly upset, she wouldn't have refused any help. That place would have been heavily guarded like it was over the summer. That other photo that's going around. Oh, well, see? Well, that was after days of the city burning. The city was burning. So yeah, you had that protection. You should have had it. And they should have had it yesterday. They chose not to. Why else did they let those people through? And you're telling me that it wasn't. So back to your question, it depends who's in charge. It depends what optics the people on the top want us to see. Because they know too many Americans are going to look at that first play and go purely off emotion, not dig any deeper. How many people are saying, why weren't they heavily guarded? Why didn't the mayor have this place guarded? Oh, well, it's because they're white people. No, it's because it was optics. The mayor, who's Black, could have shut that down. She chose not to. That's on her. And the question should be, why? The obvious answer is simple. She wanted it to look like that. Who controls the police? The mayors, right?
Not in Chicago.
Huh?
Police control themselves.
No, the mayor's
but
control.
even still, so the mayor. So now it's a big conspiracy because the mayor allowed for the Capitol get taken to create the optics of insurrection by these white people. Well, then these white people allowed themselves to be used as pawns.
Oh, sure. No, that's fair, because I say the same thing over the summertime. I said the exact same thing with all the looting and everything that was happening. Some of the people were just criminals. Some of the other people were just looking, and they were edged towards it, and they just jumped on board and started burning shit. As soon as one person started burning, you have that mob mentality. No, that's very fair. I'm not going to disagree with that at all. But hopefully we can agree there's a difference in the coverage, huge difference in the coverage. So now let's talk about why the people were marching there in the first place. Why do you guys think they were marching?
And then correct me if I'm wrong, it's because they feel that the election was tampered with, right?
That's what you think?
I'm just asking.
There's no wrong answer. It's just a question.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. I'm going off of because you have a rally on the day that they're supposed to be, was it certification or certifying the votes? They're certifying the votes. So you have a rally on the day they're certifying the votes to say that, to basically bring attention to the votes. So basically you're saying that, okay, hey, we're gonna have a rally to somewhat protest or bring awareness to this injustice, and you have this, and they say, and you finna certify the votes, and they say that we gonna take over, so y'all can't certify the votes because we believe that the election was rigged.
All right, Aaron, why do you think they were there?
I agree.
Okay,
they were there to protest the certifying of Biden being president.
All right, so why do you think so many people feel that it was stolen? So right, and now I believe the last poll was somewhere around 40%, not just Republicans. 40% of all Americans think that the election, there was fraud in the election. 40% of all Americans, right? So, and then that's not just Republicans. 40% of all Americans thought that was. So, if 40% of all Americans think that something was wrong, what happened in 2016? Did Hillary ever concede? No. What did Pelosi and all these people call Trump? Illegitimate president. What do they do for the past 4 years? Try to get him out of office. What did the media do? Try to get him out of office. What did they call every single Trump supporter? Racist. What was the biggest thing? Well, Trump's not creating racists, but he's letting them all out of the woodwork. So what were all of us called? Racists, xenophobes, anti-gay, everything that you can think of. We've been called every single one of those names for the past 4 years. They did how many different inquiries into the Russia interference? How many? How many millions? How many years? There's tangible evidence showing that something's not right. The numbers don't add up with this election. As soon as we question it, we as in Trump supporters question it, move on, sore loser. Wait a minute. You guys had 4 years of this. The minute we say, okay, look into it, have an investigation. It's no, we don't need to do an investigation. It's over, move on. There's nothing to see here. The same people that claim they hate the government, don't trust the government, bait and switch every single time. Whatever they say, as long as it goes against the person that you don't want to win, you're okay with it. So the reason why people are upset is because we can see the numbers don't add up. There's something fishy here. And if you do an investigation and it shows everything was legit, guess what? That's fine. You've done your job. You looked into it. But that's not happening. So when people are saying, when they're going there and stop the steal, right? Because, hey, this shit doesn't make any sense. There's too many fishy shit going on. We need to look into it. All of a sudden, you can't look into it. You're called all these names. You can't look into it. So when people don't feel they are getting a fair election, what do you think the next step is? That's what happens when they don't feel they're having a fair election. They're out there protesting. To be honest with you, I think it's going to get a lot worse. But the reason why they're there is not because, and it's not like Trump is saying, telling everybody, go do all these bad things. He said the exact opposite. He doesn't get any credit for it. That's fine. But the reason why people are there and they're so passionate, I've told you guys this before, and you guys don't listen, of why people back Trump so much. He is not a politician. He is not bought and paid for. He's fighting because every time we step up as conservatives, not Republicans, most Republicans are weak. I'm talking about actual conservatives. Every time we step up and we say something, we're called a name. Call the name. Every time you see a minority conservative speak up, what are they called? Coons, Uncle Toms, sellouts. You're not Hispanic. You forget your heritage. Everything. It doesn't matter who you are. You're called every single name in the book. You're a racist. You're called everything. So when you have somebody that's constantly fighting for you, and that's how you feel like he's fighting for you, and he's the voice that nobody spoke up for you for how many years, that's who you're fighting for. So when you see him fighting for you, you're more likely to fight. Like, right, if you have a coach, right, you have a coach, you have a teacher, you have somebody that you feel has always had your back, or is at least putting you on the right track, you fight for him, correct? Right? That's how it's supposed to be. Same thing. That's the reason why people are there. It's not about, sore loser or anything like that. You guys missed the whole point of why people are actually even there and what they're upset about. Because it's easier to say it's racism. They're a sore loser. Get over it. Instead of actually looking into the actual root cause of the issue.
But didn't he have his day in court?
No, that's so. All right, so I tell you what, probably not the right topic to sit there and get into, because there's a lot to go into that. But if you feel like election is stolen, right? Because that's what a lot of people on the left thought about 2016, and then what do? How many people were like, oh yeah, the election's over? It never happened. How many of these people call them illegitimate? To this day, call them illegitimate. So they never accepted it. The last Hillary never said, okay, I concede, Trump wins. She says it was stolen from her to this day. That's okay. That's okay. The media doesn't say anything, but Trump says, hey, it was stolen. There's something not right here. And everybody bashes him. Why is that okay? Why is it okay for one to do it, but the other to? Why is it not okay for the other to do it?
Because he is a grown man that regularly whines and throws temper tantrums when it doesn't go his way. And the fact that perfect example is the fact that you're actually attacking your own vice president.
So going back to okay,
but he had a difference of opinion.
So you're saying it's okay. It was okay for Hillary to do it. It was okay for Hillary and all these other politicians to say he's illegitimate, but it's not okay for Trump to do it because you don't like him.
But
that's what I'm asking. Why is it not okay?
I'm not saying that. I'm saying
you just
how
did.
It was. No, I'm saying how it was handled.
Okay.
Tell me when all these Hillary supporters or Democratic people stormed any state capitol because they were pissed off. Tell me when Hillary attacked her campaign manager or went on social media blasting these people when she didn't get her way. That's that, and separate from the campaign, that's what makes the difference between Trump and anybody else, whether he's a politician or not.
You're still not answering my question.
No,
You haven't answered my question.
she had it. Tell me what protests or
You're not
what,
answering my question. You're
you
still
said why is it
you're
okay?
evading my question.
No,
Why?
you said why it was okay.
Again, why is it okay for him to do what others have done? Why is it not okay? And your only thing that you say is you don't like his attitude and how he carries himself. But that's besides the point. But
No, it's
it doesn't.
not.
That's a lot, though. Like,
no. That's besides the point, because that's optics. That's pure optics. That's all that is. I'm asking, take the optics out of it. Why is it okay for these other people to say the election was stolen from me? I'm not going to concede. But when Trump says the election is stolen from me, I'm not going to concede, everybody throws a fit. So I'm asking is, why didn't the same people have the same attitude 4 years ago?
So why they don't have the same attitude?
Yeah, why is it different? Why are these people treating it different now? As in, oh, he's a terror, or he's a menace and he's not going to leave, and blah, blah, blah. But they didn't say the same thing 4 years ago. That's what I'm asking.
So
forget about optics.
You can't take, in my opinion, you can't take the optics out of it. You can't take out, it's not about what you say, it's how you say what you say. So, and correct me if I'm wrong, if he had said, I disagree with this, I don't think it is. And the thing with Trump is that it's his actions, the way he handles stuff. That's why it's the way he handles things. It's your attitude towards how you handle stuff. Does that make sense?
I understand where you're coming from. You still haven't answered my question.
But that is answering your question.
So the only reason
it's out of it.
So the only reason why it's okay, for the media to be in such in disarray and these politicians is because they don't like his optics. But
no, it's his
the
behavior.
way you do stuff.
Again, but why was it okay? It's a simple question. And if your only answer is, well, it's the way he's saying it, then it doesn't matter. Then you're completely disregarding and you're not being fair. Because fair has nothing to do with optics. Fair is, if you allow one person to do it, you have to allow the other person to do it. If you're going to attack one person for doing something and you're not going to attack the other, then you're not being fair and you're judging somebody on their behavior or what you perceive as a bad behavior. Doesn't matter what their behavior is or what they're saying. It's everything should be equal, correct?
How is that possible? How can you say that it doesn't matter their behavior? Because if you have a monk in the street versus somebody causing chaos, it don't matter if they're both protesting over the same thing. It's the person in the street shooting whose behavior is an issue. Once again, if Trump literally just wanted to say, I'm not going to concede, this is not right, the election was stolen, nobody would fault him.
But he did.
But it's everything else he's doing. Obama didn't say, well, I'm going to make it hard for Trump to get in here because
yes, he did. That's a lie. That's a flat out lie.
Show me the video then. When Obama said he was not going to help.
The FBI investigation started when Obama was in office.
Man,
okay. What? And the proof is out there. Yep. Everything is out there.
Everything is out there.
Yep. So what you said was a lie.
Okay. Because it's all. That's a whole subject for another discussion.
Okay.
I'm gonna shelf that to our next chit chat and chill, because
okay.
that goes back to how it's good for the goose, but what's good for the goose ain't good for the gander.
So this goes back to my other point. People will find a reason. They're finding a reason to make it seem like the situations are different. They're finding a reason to justify bashing one person while letting it slide from somebody else. They're justifying it.
So
And that doesn't make it right.
So him bashing the vice president was not wrong, was not a temper tantrum.
Let me ask you a question. When did that happen?
Yesterday.
Yesterday. Okay. So the election was over 2 months ago, right?
Okay.
Okay. So you want to talk about yesterday, but that was kind of but in the very beginning is when the most important thing is when actually after the election was like, hey, this stuff isn't right. We need to look into this. Right away, throwing a tantrum, he lost. Wait a minute. He said exactly what you said he should be saying, and then you would take it serious. But then when he said it, you didn't take it serious. Nobody took it serious. He's just throwing a temper tantrum. When he said, hey, this stuff isn't right. How is this possible? Let's look into this. We need to investigate this. And it was, everybody tossed it aside. There was so much stuff that came out that wasn't investigated. And I even put a whole bunch of stuff. Hey, we probably should look into this. We should probably look into this. And everything was, why? Why would you look into that? Why wouldn't you look into it? If you feel there's anything going on.
You're not answering my question. Isn't that what you tell me?
I'm
saying, how mature was it?
It's
that
irrelevant.
You went and attacked. No, it's not irrelevant. Because you can't ask me to feel sympathy for someone. That you asked, the original question was, what was the difference between him and Hillary's behavior, or Hillary was able to say, I'm not conceding, the election was stolen from me, versus him. But you want to separate behavior from how people view them.
Okay, so I understand where you're coming from, and I do agree with you to a certain extent. The reason why I'm separating the yesterday from the 2 months ago is because the past 2 months he was giving you that behavior you're asking for. Yesterday was kind of like that was it. It was over. Do you see what I'm saying? Like that was it. There was no other hope. It was over after yesterday. So that's where that came into play. So I think that's what you're addressing, correct? As far as like the Pence issue and stuff like that, is because at that point he felt betrayed by Pence. So that's where that came in. But after the election right away, when he was like, hey, wait a minute, there's a lot of fishy stuff going on. Nobody said, yeah, you know what? Let's look into that. Or I like the way you're handling that. It was, you're a sore loser, you're a crybaby, move on, you lost. Nobody wanted to look into anything. So what you were asking for yesterday was the behavior he was giving you the last 2 months. Yesterday, it changed more. It's getting more hostile, I guess you can use that word, lately, because at this point, it's kind of a lost cause. So that's what changed. But you can't say he was behaving yesterday how he was the last 2 months.
So let me give you the scenario, because once again, I wasn't for Hillary either. Let's put this out there. And a lot of people weren't. But what makes the difference, you got a neighbor, your neighbor's a douche. Your neighbor's an asshole, and he just comes across as a not friendly guy.
That's me.
Somebody break into your neighbor's house, everybody gonna be like, oh, well, that's what he got it coming. Somebody go break into the nice old church lady's house, everybody about to rally around her and replace the stuff that she got stolen and make sure they catch those criminals. Whether Trump, and that goes back to, you say he pushed all these policies and all this other stuff. Perception is reality. I think we can agree to that. So you say all the time, Obama didn't do nothing. Obama was one of the worst presidents ever. Well, he did it smooth, He did a horrible job smoothly. Don't nobody ever criticize George W. Bush, and he was dumb as a bag of rocks. But he did it so smoothly. Don't nobody care. You can't have sympathy for somebody who all they did the whole time was talk about people and antagonize people and come across as a bully.
You're going back to what I said. It's pure emotion.
You're right. But see, there's no argument in that.
In the emotion that the emotion that people have towards the people that hate Trump what the most disheartening, I don't know, disheartening because I don't really care what people think, obviously. It's when it bleeds over to Trump supporters. And what you're saying is, as far as replacing something, is it's a good analogy, except for you forget how many people actually love and respect Trump, right? So your analogy to the versus the douche, yeah, some of your neighbors not like you, but 75 million do. And those 75 million that like you and voted for you are there for you because of the fact that you were standing up and you didn't allow, you stood up for them, which goes into the next topic. But so I don't think, to sum this, why the people marching, I don't think the people will ever really understand, because they choose not to, because it's easier just to nullify and try to nullify Trump and his supporters as racist and all these other little names that people always call us, instead of understanding why his support is so strong. So why his supporters support him so strongly has nothing to do with racism. It just doesn't, and it's just easy to sit there and say that, because it prevents people from having a deeper understanding. When you can just say, oh, you're stupid because of this, that means you never have to understand where somebody else is coming from, because you just easily dismiss it. So that's just, I think people are missing the boat when they choose not to have that understanding. And to be honest, they haven't done that understanding for the past 5 years, so they're never really going to do it.